I'd like to demonstrate what for me is a basic fundamental principle of modelling in 3D. I've drawn this surface, that's two-dimensional of course, and that's going to be the piece of paper on which I design. So that's the two-dimensional basic surface, and onto that I can select a rectangle and draw a rectangular shape, or select a circle and draw a circular shape. So for the sake of this demonstration, that's the design. Now these two objects are three-dimensional. They're not three-dimensional yet, but they are to be three-dimensional. Now, for me, the principle of good modelling in SketchUp is this: never pull straight out of the surface. It looks fine. You have a three-dimensional model there, as easily as that. But the giant problem with that is that these objects are stuck to the surface and are part of the surface, so you can't move them. You can't do anything with these because they're just stuck to this primary two-dimensional surface. It would be the exact equivalent, in modelling terms, of building a shelf and then instead of putting things on the shelf, sucking out of the wood of the shelf all the objects on it which remain permanently part of the shelf and glued to the shelf and part of it. So, that would never happen in the real world. And so I'll just undo this, two-finger tap and a two-finger tap. This is how I model, and it keeps the model clean and it keeps it functioning. So there's the lasso tool. I lasso around this object here. I go to the move tool, copy move, so that's move with a little plus sign. And you move it out into a working area outside of the model itself. You can then model it and do anything you want with it, again, outside of this area. Touch the lasso and lasso that object. Instantly this little icon appears, 3 in from the left. That's the group tool, so it's now grouped. Simple as that. Then get the move tool and put it back. So that's, for me, how to model in 3D. Because what that means is that that object is now completely independent of the two-dimensional surface. So for me, again, my rule to self, and how I'm suggesting everyone models, is that this primary surface, the two-dimensional surface, remains permanently ungrouped. There is no need to group that, and in fact it's easier and better not to, but that this surface here, this circle that I've drawn, if I lasso that circle, I'll just repeat the process, move. Plus move is a copy, take it out, model it outside of the area, lasso, group it. Now that it's grouped, you can put it back. And there we are. And it will pop back to where it wants to go because it came from that place as a clone. So it will find its home naturally and click there. But the huge difference now is that these objects can be moved. And so if I were to touch this object here and the move tool, I can move it around and place it elsewhere because it's totally independent from that surface.